What is God? The concept of God varies among different religions and belief systems. In monotheistic religions, God is often considered the supreme being, creator, and ruler of the universe. In polytheistic religions, there are multiple gods with distinct roles. Views on God can also be shaped by personal beliefs, philosophy, or spirituality. It's a complex and subjective topic with diverse perspectives. I'm just going to throw a lot of ideas out there and see where I end up. However, I will tread very carefully in attempts to not hurt anyone's feelings. So you have an individual who believes in an almighty creator, and depending on their religion, they believe that they can have a personal relationship with this creator, and it can guide and direct their life. We are only human, thus we are fallible. So if we put our faith into a greater power than ourselves, then we don't have to be held responsible for our own decisions, because our life was guided by the Supreme Being and not ourselves. Our lives must have meaning, and we just don't see the meaning. So, what meaning does our sufferings have other than for the sake of itself? It should be for the sake of some greater good. So my life should have purpose even if I don't see it. My purpose is left in the hands of God. I somehow have this personal relationship with God where I can communicate with it or Him just by praying and praying, even though God already knows what you need, so you wouldn't even have to pray, and God would still know what you need. But by praying, you develop an intimate connection with this higher power. This video is going to be discussing the monotheistic God. I'm not going to get into polytheism in this video. That's because this video is about what is God with a capital G, not what is a God with a lowercase g. Please do like the video. It lets the algorithm know to suggest it to other people, so you would be doing me a great service by liking the video. I can't even say that this video is talking about the Christian God, because the Christian God worships a man named Jesus, and not the God in the sky, who is the creator of everything. So this video is centered on a monotheistic God that is all knowing and all powerful, that lives in the heavens and controls everything here on earth and in the universe. For the thumbnail to this video, it was difficult finding a representation of the God in the clouds. Most of what came up when I searched for cartoon of God was Jesus. How much of all of this is fiction? How much is created in the brain? And how much is part of our spiritual essence? I'm not saying we don't have souls, but are our souls eternal? Or do they pass away with the body? Are souls connected to a divine being? Are they just individual representations? Are we alone in life? Or is there some greater power that's looking down on us? So you're supposed to bow down to this greater power, and by being a servant to it, your eternal afterlife will be spent in heaven. Your toils here on earth have some sort of spiritual meaning, and you are earning rewards for yourself in the afterlife. So don't worry about this life, because we're only preparing for the afterlife. We only live a short period of time, but the afterlife is eternal. So the scope of our human existence is but a blink of the eye in comparison to all of eternity, which we will have to spend. These are the things that people believe, and even though they seem crazy to me now, some of these things are things that I used to believe and only kind of got out of them relatively recently. But I can see the madness now that I was experiencing when I was a religious person. What is philosophical suicide according to Camus? Philosophical suicide, according to Albert Camus, is the act of embracing religious or philosophical systems that offer comforting, absolute truths or meaning to life, despite the apparent absurdity and lack of inherent meaning in the universe. Camus, in his work The Myth of Sisyphus, argues against evading the inherent meaninglessness of life through such beliefs, urging individuals to confront the absurdity and create their own meaning in the face of it. And you have this sense that you have to believe in this higher power to receive the rewards that it provides. So if you want to be a part of this higher power, then you have to submit yourself wholly to it. It's like I don't want to be responsible for my own life, so I'm going to give it over to a higher power so that it can be responsible for my life instead of me being responsible for my own life. Belief in a higher power gives up belief in yourself. I am not saying that God does not exist. I do not know one way or the other as to God's existence. And to be honest, there's no way that us humans could know. But the question is, should we spend our life focused on this higher power to provide for us when we have ourselves? I learned very well not to rely on people. You can't rely on people in this life and be successful. You have to rely on yourself. And you can't rely on a God to fulfill your life purpose. You have to rely on yourself to fulfill that life purpose. Thus, you can't find individual purpose by relying on a collective religion. You have to find that purpose in yourself, because the one-size-fits-all religion is not going to cater to your individual needs. If God does exist, I hope He thinks that my life contributed to His overall plan. If God doesn't exist, my life was spent very meaningfully despite the absurdities that I faced. If there is an afterlife, I hope that my life was good enough to get into it. What is it truly that is accomplished when you pray? You get out what you want to God. You're trying to tell God what you want in hopes to get what you want from God. That seems a bit weird. God, give me what I want, give me what I want, give me what I want. God be like, yeah, I gave you a life so you could chase after what you wanted with your life. So, yeah. And that person be like, God, give me what I want, give me what I want. I don't want to do anything to reach what I want. I just want you to give me what I want. I used to believe in the power of prayer. I think giving a man food holds more rewards than going to church every week. The type of food that I have to offer is food for thought. Some call it food for the soul. Talk to me personally on the Discord server. Just search for my video called My Discord Server and join. I would love to talk to you there. If God exists, then He gave us ourself. And what you come to learn through experiencing life is that you can only count on yourself. So it is only natural for an enlightened individual to put faith in themselves. We direct the outcomes of our lives. We are the master of what happens in the future because we control the present, and what we do in the present will have an effect on what happens in the future. We are given by something these conscious seconds to experience, and our choice in this life is how we will experience them. Will we pollute our mind with dogmatic doctrine? Or will we free ourselves into the possibilities of life? If God does exist, I think He would understand people not believing in Him because He doesn't make His existence known. Also, saying that there is only one entity that is responsible for everything in the universe seems to be stretching it a little. Aren't there multiple entities that caused multiple chain reactions? Isn't this world a product of a lot of things happening at once and not the product of one thing happening at one point? This is where polytheism comes in, and people worship different entities that represent different things. But this video was about a supreme God. Don't strike me down. If there is one. And I don't think we should rule out that there isn't one. I don't agree with the atheistic standpoint. The agnostic state of mind allows the possibilities to exist without committing to any single one of them. What are your possibilities in life? Your potential is locked behind your ideology. I appreciate your attention span. Until next time, this is Wendell, signing off.